Good evening, Diecast fans. I'm Tom Spanners-Watson.
And I'm Frank the Guru Gibbs.
Welcome to another DSPN report. We've got news, drag racing, tournament updates, street racing, rallying update, Frank's Garage, Track Spy, and of course everybody's favourite, Crash of the Week. So there's a lot going on this week. We've got tons of cool stuff to get into, so let's rip into it. First up, the Diecast Racing Report is finally out. Head over to diecastracingreport.com to get your copy. And we actually have some drifting news.
Awesome. I love drifting.
Now, this guy, TYO Toys, there's a link to the drift pad in the description. Go and check it out. But this guy has been doing drifting of Hot Wheels for years, and he has come up with some fantastic systems that you can buy. And at the moment, he's working with magnets, and this just looks epic.
Totally right, mate. That is awesome. I'd love to see some more of that.
Moving on to drag racing, we got Peter Bee Vids first up. So he is knee deep in his next tournament, and there are some awesomely close races there. Go and check it out.
And I love that finish gate. It looks really basic, but it's actually quite clever that way it works.
And of course, we've got League of Speed and Redline Derby Racing us kicking off the Charger Summer. This particular series lasts all summer, goes across 7 tracks, and is just epic. So this is some of the best modified builders in the country. If you can hang with the big dogs here, you know you're good. And you can see, even on a straight track, things get a bit wild.
Absolutely, and we love that over the canyon, mate. Then moving over to Diecast Draggor, he's got another series out, and this race here, these guys are just tapping each other backwards and forwards going down the track here. I mean, they obviously haven't worked out that it's actually meant to just be a straight out drag race.
And I like the way that one guy got hooked up on one of the sides. Alright, go and check him out if you want to see more of that. Then of course, Thursday Night Hot Rods over at Hot Car Track, and the Purginator is killing it. So far, the most unbeaten car on the track.
Yeah, this thing is an absolute beast. Doesn't always get it its own way. I mean, the Roger Dodger here stormed ahead, but definitely some cool racing. Go and check that out.
Moving on to tournaments, there are a ton of tournaments on at the moment. We're going to just do a quick recap on some of the ones that have gone on. RTR, Diecast Racing and the Mustang Mania tournament came to its final conclusion with Knocky Jack and Hunter Paul fighting it out for first place. And there were some great races. This one here, Hunter Paul well out in front, spins, and then just check out how close this finish is.
I love this angle here. You really feel like they're coming straight at you. And then here, look at that finish. That's just crazy. It's so close.
And of course, Trax Racing had the final of their championship, Season 1. Now, we took out the Evo, which was so far the winningest car on the track, unbeaten, and we were hoping for big things. And of course, we had the McLaren up second, which was our second best car, but hadn't done particularly well, so it was going to be a little bit iffy. And we were up against some very strong challenges. Both these other teams had sat in the middle of the pack. So far, no one had been able to take down the Evo, and this is the very first race here. And you see how close everyone is coming down this first drop, and then the Evo just stretches its legs.
Stevenson really fit at the beams there, loving it.
And you can see how close the rest of the pack is. Unfortunately, the centre for us kept coming in last, which wasn't great, but the Evo definitely did its thing. Go over and check out Trax Racing and see all the action there.
Now, we also partnered up for a world tour with Hot Wheels Calgary, and this was just one of the races with, of course, our classic horseplay. And check out this passing manoeuvre he does on the jump here. Right over the top of the Zuru, no respect whatsoever, and just blazes through to the finish.
So that is on all this week. Head over to Hot Wheels Calgary and check that out. It's a great little series, and next week there'll be a different track. And of course, it was time for the Chevy Showdown for us into the quarterfinals, and the Monte Carlos living up to their madness reputation. I mean, just look at the carnage there on Kahuna Corner.
And don't forget, mate, the El Caminos didn't want to be left out either. I mean, here you got Tux McBee going over, And Arcade XD riding on the back of Kit KM. Oh, he's just, it's a bit rude, really. I mean, he's riding him like Seabiscuit.
I'm not sure everyone else in the rest of the world will get that reference, mate, but sure, let's go with that. Okay, moving on. Next, we've got Sub 4RA and his NASCAR tournament. Now, there are a ton of cars on this track at one time, and it gets mental out there. I mean, just look at the start lineup here, and they head down, and boom, someone gets nailed off the track, and it's only a short track. Cars are upside down, there's crashes. It's a fantastic little series. Go over to Sub 4RA and check that out. I mean, have a look at this replay. You see the car just get absolutely shot out between a couple of cars. Now, in his races, if you cross the finish line upside down, it doesn't count if you stay upside down. So even though that dude crossed first, upside down, you're out of the race. So a lot tighter rules over there than at the Canyon, where we'd let him go everywhere.
Alright, and then back to War on I-4. He's now moving on to his Canadian Grand Prix, so it's qualifying time. And check out the race there, or I should say the qualifying, and check out who finishes where in the lap times.
Then Rust Belt Diecast Racing, they continued with their kids race. And I mean, look at these awesome vehicles. The kids have done such a cool job painting these up. I just love it. Over on their Facebook group, they do live racing every day. So if you're into that, go and check it out. I mean, live diecast racing is pretty cool. I love this drop. It is so brutal. And that Land Rover just cleaned up in that race.
Then we head over to Jackson Pass Speedway, and you can see the upgrades on this track look amazing. People have been lining up to get tickets to the next race for ages. Now, this was the first race, and the Bugatti there just gets sideways and hooks up on the track and flips, and we get another angle here. You see it come down, and it comes to a dead halt and gets thrown up in the air. Boom! That's brutal, mate. Is there another angle to that?
Yeah, I think there is. Here we go. Look at that.
Oh, mate, that must have hurt.
Luckily, no one was injured. Head over, check out the rest of the racing. Very cool stuff. Moving into street racing. Now, we've got DRC Racing, who we've got coming up later on. They have just built a new street track. They've just got a teaser up on their channel at the moment, but this thing looks cool. Absolutely love the detail that's gone into it, the amazing backgrounds, and it looks like it's going to be set for some exciting racing.
This track is really awesome. I love that they build all this out of cardboard. It's very resourceful.
Then Indonesia Diecast Racing. And again, we've seen some great crashes and racing on this track, and this is no exception. Look at this. Gets his back wheels up, flips around, and gets nailed down the track on his roof. And then in the next lap, comes around, comes in hot, boom, and basically bounces straight off the top of that high wall and gets thrown off the track.
That's ridiculous.
Now, a new track, Urban Underground Race League. This is set up and inspired by Chicago, and this track is so cool. He also raced an El Camino and a Holden Ute.
Oh, I love me a Holden Ute, mate.
And of course, you can't go wrong with the El Caminos. Obviously, they're running on the Canyon at the moment, so a bit of a soft spot for them. Just a very nicely themed track, some nice camera angles, and we've got some action coming up later on as well. Moving into rally news.
Oh yeah, it's time for the 3D Bot Maker Rally. Yeah.
That's right, Guru. The DRC is back. It's qualifying lap time at the moment. Jump in, check it out. He reveals the secret car that is a prototype car from Hot Wheels. That is epic that he got that. Go and check it out. We're not going to tell you that here. You have to go over and have a look. And you just saw there Stephen King, the reigning two-time champion, showing them how it's done.
Then DRC Racing. So this is back to their original track. And of course, the racing on this track is just epic. These guys thrash and bash the whole way down. And I love this next race here. This dude gets wild and the other car crosses on its roof. That's brilliant. Both of them going wide. hitting that barrier, but only one of them making it through.
And Beaverworks is back. Now, they've done the stoned road before, but they have just set up their new jump called the Rock Drop Jump. This thing is cool. We've seen it in the previews before, but this time they're actually racing it and they run the 3 rally cars down it. So it is a short but extremely steep drop. They get measured on the distance that they clear. They get points for style and all sorts of stuff. Head over and check it out. And speaking of style, this short montage from Track Attack is awesome.
Man, these things must have been flying. Look at that. That is just brilliant.
This is filmed outdoors on a specialty small track with a big lead in, and it just looks awesome. Head over to their channel to check out the whole thing. And I'll hand over to Frank for the next bit.
Now, we highlighted in Trax by Flat Rabbit Racing, they are about to launch their first race video, and we got the preview. It is awesome. I love this track so much.
That looks incredible, mate. Ooh, I like how he stages the car there. Very classy. Wow, that track looks awesome.
Yeah, mate, it is epic. And I love the jump at the end. Can't wait for everybody to see that.
And speaking of Track Spy, we're going to head over and have a look at a couple. First up, we've got Widowmaker Run. This is a monster track. This is probably going to be the biggest, baddest track on the planet. I can't even remember how many turns it's got, but he did this very cool first-person run down the track. We don't have the whole thing here. You'll have to head over to his channel to check it out. That's Widowmaker Run.
Then we've got GNR Vintage Diecast Racing, and he has given a sneak peek of his new track, and this thing is crazy. I love all the different turns and stuff to make it as even as possible. They're all offset, and it is wicked.
That's very cool, Guru. Nicely spotted. And then we've got another new track that is still under construction from DC World Racing.
This whole track base is made out of foam, and it's going to look wicked when it's all finished.
That's right, so there's another track to keep an eye out for. Then we head over finally to Stunt of the Week, and this week it's not from the Canyon. That's right, we gave it to Urban Underground Racing League for this crash here. Now, it didn't look spectacular on that angle, but check out this replay from the corner cam. Look at that El Camino, goes up high, gets some airtime, flips and rolls, comes backwards, the Holden goes over, but then the El Camino manages to not only get back on his wheels, but slides past the Holden very tastily and takes the win.
Wow, that is awesome. What a great bit of driving.
Alright, that is it for this week. We hope you've enjoyed watching it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. As always, this report was brought to you in association with Redline Derby Racing. If you've got diecast questions, if you want to know anything related to diecast, or you want to be part of this DSPN report, get over there, get involved. Thanks very much to all of the tracks for letting us use their footage tonight. Really appreciate it. We love to bring you this stuff. So if you've got a track that we haven't featured yet, make sure you head over to the DSPN forum on Redline Derby Racing. There'll be a link in the description. Fill in your details, post your links, post your photos, whatever it is, and we will have a look at it and we will do our best to get you in. Obviously these reports are getting bigger and bigger, but we try to include as much as we can. I'm Tom Spanners Watson. He's Frank the Guru Gibbs. We'll see you next time.